Good day. My name is Marcus Lynn. I am the senior pastor of First Christian Church of Versailles. This is the fifth and final in a series of short videos explaining exactly who we are and where we are headed as a church family. Now, almost every Sunday, again, you hear that First Christian Church exists to make disciples of Jesus by being the family of God sent into the world on a daily basis. And so far, we've explained what we mean by that, and that to accomplish making disciples means that we have to imitate what Jesus did. And Jesus lived, in a three-dimensional life with growing relationships up with God the Father, in with his community of disciples, and then out with the rest of the people who need to see God's love proclaimed and displayed. And we illustrate that relationship trio through the triangle. Now, in this video, I want to explore how we at First Christian Church seek to demonstrate our love for those outside the local church. That a growing disciple of Jesus is growing in their out relationships. They're growing in love for their neighbors. And a neighbor is simply someone who is in close proximity to us. It could be a coworker, a family member, a schoolmate, a teammate, or someone who lives near us, to name a few examples. Now, God calls us to love our neighbor. And more specifically, we think that God calls us to see that all people know the love of God. And so the first value statement, the way that we can grow and evaluate our love for neighbor, is by sharing the gospel in deed and in word. That is, we show the gospel through showing and telling, that we want everyone to see the love of God through us, that we ourselves have been adopted into God's family, and so now we all play a role in others experiencing God's love and forgiveness. And so personal relationships connect people to Jesus, that our everyday lives are our mission field. Now, notice the word order in that statement. The first place to start in sharing the gospel is through deeds, and only after we have earned the right to be heard, our words will be more effective. We must demonstrate that our lives have been changed before we proclaim that they have. The second value is that we view each person as an image bearer of God. This value establishes for us the realization that we need to treat every single person, regardless of color, gender, sexual orientation, religion, financial status, wherever they come from, with respect and dignity and love. In other words, every person is worthy of us sharing the gospel in word and deed and loving. And our third value in this area of relationships is to seek to bless others every day. That God has blessed us to be a blessing. That even before we think about how we can share the gospel in deeds and in words, we need to be growing in the habit of simply blessing those around us. No strings attached. Now, what does it mean to bless others? Well, we just seek ways to serve them, encourage them, give gifts to them. This means I wave and smile to my neighbor when I see them in the morning, and I pray for them in the evening. That means when the person in front of me at the grocery store is short $2, I don't hesitate to give it to them. That means when I'm in a drive-through, at a restaurant or Starbucks or somewhere, that I might buy the person's meal behind me. This means that when I'm eating out, I make sure to bless the waiter with a generous tip. And then alongside that, the fourth way we love our neighbor is to promote grace and mercy in our community. Specifically, this means we are serving those who are most likely to be forgotten in our culture. People who are dealing with material poverty or other hardships. As a church, we already do several initiatives to help with those things, but we need to find more ways to serve more people and involve more people. That we have to find ways to bridge the gap between demonstrating God's love and ultimately proclaiming it as well. Now, I hope that the 5 videos have helped you understand the culture here at First Christian Church better. You can find them all together, all these videos, at our website, fccversailles.com. These are simply values we are trying to live out. We fail all the time. But at least we know what we're trying to live up to. We're not lowering a bar, we're raising it as a spiritual family. These 5 videos have been about how we can make and grow as disciples of Jesus. We don't believe that we can effectively make disciples in a room in 1 hour a week. That you can't make disciples by looking at the backs of other people's heads. You have to look them in the face. You have to know them. You have to be doing life and in community with them. You have to be face to face and arm to arm together in life. That's just how it works. We cannot be disciples in isolation. We cannot be disciples in a crowd. We must be in community, on mission together with people we know and who know us, and together love Jesus and grow in our love for Jesus. Thanks.